before the first beat of your infant heart, before the first breath filled your lungs, before you were given a name, a family, or a story, a decision was made, a choice of immense courage and consequence. In a realm outside of time, in a state of perfect clarity and wholeness, you, the vast, eternal being that you are, leaned over the blueprint of this lifetime, and you signed your name to it. You signed a contract, a sacred, binding agreement with your own soul. You agreed to come here, to this dense and difficult world, at this specific and chaotic time, for a very specific purpose. You agreed to forget who you are, so you could have the adventure of remembering. You agreed to face certain challenges, to learn certain lessons, to meet certain souls. And you agreed that at a predetermined moment, you would receive a wake-up call, a signal that your time of forgetting was over, that your real assignment was about to begin. That feeling you've been having lately, that quiet, persistent inner restlessness, that sense that you are meant for more than this, that is not your imagination. That is the alarm clock going off. And it is saying, now it's time. If you have ever felt a deep, unspoken sense of purpose that you couldn't quite name, if you are ready to finally read the contract that your own soul wrote for you, then take a slow, deep breath. We are about to open the celestial archives. Subscribe and join the circle of remembrance, because your amnesia is ending and your mission is beginning. Part 1. The divine amnesia and the terms of the agreement. Let us begin by understanding the first and most crucial clause of this contract, the clause of forgetting. This was not a punishment or a flaw in the system. It was a necessary precondition for the mission. Imagine an actor of immense talent and renown. To play the part of a humble beggar with true authenticity, they cannot be on stage constantly thinking, I am a famous, wealthy actor pretending to be a beggar. To truly embody the role, they must, for the duration of the play, forget their true identity. They must allow the consciousness of the beggar to become their temporary reality. You are this actor, in your home dimension. In your true state of being, you are a being of immense light, wisdom, and power. You exist in a state of unity, of effortless creation, of unconditional love. But to undertake the specific mission, the mission of incarnating on planet Earth at the peak of its densest, most forgetful cycle, you had to agree to the veil. You had to agree to drink from the mythical river of Lethe, the river of unmindfulness. You agreed to forget your own magnificence. You agreed to forget your connection to Source. You agreed to forget the other members of your soul family, who would be incarnating alongside you. You agreed to forget the laws of creation and to believe in the illusion of your own powerlessness. Why? Why would any being agree to such a terrifying set of terms? Because the mission required total immersion. You were not coming here to be a tourist, observing the human condition from a safe, spiritual distance. You were coming here to be on the front lines, to experience the density, the fear, and the separation from the inside out. You came here to understand the program of limitation so intimately that you could, eventually, help to dismantle it from within. Forgetting was your camouflage. It was the price of admission. Now, what were the other terms of this contract? While the specifics are unique to each soul, the general structure is universal. You agreed to a specific curriculum. You chose a set of core lessons that your soul wished to master in this lifetime. Perhaps your soul, in its eternal journey, wished to master the frequency of unconditional love. So, you signed a contract that included experiences of profound betrayal and heartbreak, because you knew that only by facing those challenges could you truly learn to generate love from within rather than depending on it from without. Perhaps your soul wished to master the frequency of trust. So, you designed a life filled with uncertainty and moments where you were forced to leap into the unknown, because that was the only way to develop true, unwavering faith. Your greatest challenges have not been random misfortunes. They have been the final exams for the curriculum you chose. You also agreed to certain rendezvous. Before you incarnated, you made agreements with other souls. I will meet you in the third act, when you are lost in despair, and I will say something that reminds you of your own strength. You will be my parent, and you will provide the initial wounds that will force me to find my own sovereignty. We will be partners, and we will trigger each other's deepest shadows so that we can both heal. These are the soul contracts that govern your most significant relationships. The people who hurt you the most, and the people who helped you the most, are often the same souls, fulfilling an ancient, sacred agreement to help you grow. And finally, your contract contained a mission clause. You agreed to bring a specific gift, a unique frequency, a particular piece of the puzzle to this world at this time. Perhaps your mission is to be a healer, a teacher, an artist, a builder, a guardian of the earth, or simply a quiet, stable anchor of peace in a world of chaos. Your mission is not necessarily your job. It is the energetic quality that you are here to embody and broadcast into the collective field. This entire complex and beautiful contract was written by you, for you, out of a love and wisdom that your current amnesiac self can barely comprehend. You are not a victim of your life. You are the heroic protagonist of a story you designed. And the hidden voice in your head, the one that tells you that you are lost, that your life is meaningless, that you are a victim of circumstance, that voice is the voice of the amnesia. It is the character in the play, reading the script of limitation, but the feeling that has been haunting you, the sacred ache, the sense of forgotten purpose, that is the soul, the actor, beginning to hear the prompter's whisper from the wings, reminding you that it is almost time for your most important scene. Part 2. The activation clause, the alarms of the soul. Every sacred contract contains an activation clause, a set of conditions that, when met, bring the full terms of the agreement into effect. Your soul, in its infinite wisdom, did not send you into this dense realm of forgetting without a safety net, without a series of alarm clocks designed to wake you up at the appropriate time. The 1111 phenomenon we discussed previously is one of these alarm clocks. It is a prearranged numerical trigger, a synchronistic nudge from your higher self saying, "Please remember." But there are other more potent and often more painful activators. These are the events in your life that are so powerful, so disruptive, that they shatter the trance of the ordinary and force you to ask the deeper questions. These are the moments when the contract is slammed down on the table in front of you. One of the most common activators is what is often called the dark night of the soul. This is a period in your life where the entire structure of your reality collapses. The career you built turns to dust. The relationship you thought defined you ends. Your health fails. Your belief systems crumble. You are left in a state of profound disorientation, of meaninglessness, of despair. The hidden voice of the ego interprets this as a catastrophic failure. It says, "My life is over. I have lost everything." But from the perspective of the soul contract, the dark night is not a failure. It is a system reboot. It is a controlled demolition. Your soul has lovingly and sometimes ruthlessly orchestrated the collapse of the false, ego-based structures you built, so that something truer and more authentic can be built in their place. The dark night is a fire that burns away the character's costume, so that the actor can finally be revealed. It is a painful but profoundly loving activation of your contract. It is your soul saying, "The life you thought you wanted is not the life you came here to live." That story is over. Now the real story begins. Another powerful activator is the encounter with immense, inexplicable love. This could be the birth of a child, a moment that cracks your heart open to a depth of love you never knew was possible. It could be the encounter with a twin flame, a connection so profound it shatters your understanding of who you are. Or it could be a spontaneous mystical experience, a moment of feeling completely, unconditionally loved by the universe itself. These moments of grace are activators. They give you a direct, experiential taste of your true home, of your soul's nature, which is love. And once you have tasted that, you can no longer be satisfied with the tasteless food of the egoic world. The memory has been activated. The longing for home becomes a conscious fire that drives your journey forward. A third activator is the encounter with profound, life-altering pain. This could be a serious illness, a near-death experience, or the deep grief of losing a loved one. These events are the ultimate pattern interrupt. They vaporize the trivial concerns of the ego. In the face of your own mortality, or the raw reality of loss, the mind's endless chatter about bills and social status is revealed for the utter nonsense that it is. These moments force you into the present moment. They crack you open. They plow the hardened soil of your heart. As Rumi taught, the wound is the place where the light enters. Great pain is often the chisel that your soul uses to break open the prison of your personality, activating the deeper terms of your contract. And finally, there's the activator that is happening for so many right now, the great awakening of the collective. As the frequency of the planet rises, as the old systems of the world begin to shake and crumble, the activation codes are being broadcast to everyone. The alarm clock is ringing for the entire human family. This is why you're feeling so strange, so out of place. It is not just your personal contract being activated. You are part of a synchronized collective wake-up call. Look at your life. Have you experienced one of these activators recently? A collapse, a grace, a pain, or just a rising sense of urgency and strangeness? Do not see it as a random event. See it as a notification from your own soul. The notification reads, "Your trial period of amnesia has expired. It is now time to log into your mission. Please click I agree to the terms and conditions of your own divine purpose." Part 3. Reading the fine print. How to remember your contract. So, the alarm clock is ringing. You feel the call. You understand on an intellectual level that you have a contract, a purpose. But the hidden voice of the mind immediately asks a frustrating question. Okay, but what is it? What is my mission? What does my contract actually say? I can't remember signing it. The desire to know your contract with a logical mind is the ego's attempt to regain control. It wants a clear, written document, a mission statement, a 5-year plan. But the contract was not written in the language of the mind. It was written in the language of the soul. And you cannot read it with your eyes. You must learn to read it with your heart, with your intuition, with your entire being. Remembering your contract is not an act of mental recall. It is a process of energetic resonance. It is the art of learning to recognize your own soul's frequency. Here is how you begin to read the fine print. 1. Follow the trail of joy and fascination. Your contract is not a life sentence of arduous duty. Your soul did not sign you up for a mission you would hate. Your mission is always aligned with your deepest, most authentic joy. The things that make you feel expansive, alive, and utterly absorbed, these are not random hobbies. They are clues. They are the breadcrumbs your soul left for you to follow. What did you love to do as a child before the world told you what you should be doing? Did you love to draw? To build things? To be in nature? To care for animals? To organize your friends into elaborate games? These childhood fascinations are the purest expression of your soul's native energy. They are the first chapter of your contract. What subjects are you endlessly fascinated by now as an adult? What could you read about or talk about for hours, losing all track of time? Ancient history? Quantum physics? Healing modalities? Gardening? Social justice? Your fascinations are not random. They are your curriculum. They are the subjects your soul chose to study in this lifetime. Follow them. They will lead you to the heart of your purpose. 2. Listen to the wisdom of your discontent. Your pain is just as important a clue as your joy. The things in the world that consistently break your heart, that fill you with a righteous anger, are not just random triggers. They are pointing directly to the mission clause in your contract. Does the destruction of the environment fill you with a deep grief? Part of your contract is to be a guardian of the earth. Does the suffering of animals break your heart? Part of your contract is to be a voice for the voiceless. Does the injustice and inequality of our social systems fill you with a holy fire? Part of your contract is to be a builder of a new, more equitable world. Your soul did not come here to be a passive bystander to suffering. The things that hurt you most are a direct reflection of what you came here to heal. Your discontent is not a sign of your negativity. It is the activation of your sacred responsibility. Do not turn away from the world's pain. Let it break your heart open, for in that breaking, your unique mission will be revealed. 3. Decode your greatest challenges. As we have discussed, your greatest challenges are not accidents. They are the curriculum you design for yourself. The fine print of your contract can be read in the recurring patterns of your suffering. Have you spent your life struggling with a feeling of unworthiness? Then your contract involves mastering the frequency of self-love, and your mission is to then teach that master to others, through your example. Have you struggled with illness? Your contract involves becoming a master of healing, first for yourself and then for others. Have you struggled with finding your voice and speaking your truth? Your contract involves mastering the energy of authentic expression, and your mission is to help others unlock their own voices. To read your contract, you must learn to look at your life not as a victim, but as a student in a masterclass. Ask the question, what is the core lesson that this recurring challenge is trying to teach me? What quality is this situation forcing me to develop within myself? The answer to that question is one of the central clauses of your agreement. You chose the curriculum because your soul knew it was a perfect catalyst for your growth and the perfect training for your mission. To remember your contract is to become a detective of your own life, a symbologist of your own soul. You learn to see that nothing is random. Everything, your joy, your pain, your challenges, is a clue. It is all part of magnificent, intelligent, and deeply loving design. And you are the one who wrote it. Part 4, The Authority, the Akasha, and the Book of Life. This idea of a pre-life contract, a soul plan, is not a flight of fancy. It is a concept that is deeply rooted in the esoteric traditions of both the East and the West. It is the understanding that our lives are not random, but are part of a vast cosmic tapestry of purpose and meaning. In the mystical traditions of India, they speak of the Akasha. The Akasha, from the Sanskrit word for ether or space, is described as a primordial substance, the first element of creation. But it is not just empty space. It is a field of living, intelligent consciousness that acts as a universal memory bank. It is the hard drive of the universe. Everything that has ever happened, every thought that has ever been thought, every feeling that has ever been felt, is recorded in the Akasha. This is the origin of the concept of the Akashic Records. The great seers and mystics, from the ancient rishis to modern clairvoyants like Edgar Cayce, claim to be able to access this Akashic field. They taught that it contains a book of life for every individual soul. This book is not a literal text, but an energetic imprint containing the entire history of the soul's journey, its past lives, its lessons learned, and crucially, the plan and purpose for its current incarnation, the soul contract. Accessing the Akashic Records through deep meditation or a trance state is the act of consciously reading your own soul's agreement. This same concept appears in the Western biblical tradition, though often veiled in more poetic language. The Bible speaks of the Lamb's Book of Life, in which the names of the redeemed are written. Psalm 139 contains a stunningly direct reference to this pre-life plan. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. This is a clear statement that the life journey is not an improvisation, but the unfolding of a pre-existing divine script. In our modern era, this ancient wisdom has been powerfully confirmed through the extensive work of Dr. Michael Newton, a hypnotherapist who, like Dolores Cannon, stumbled upon the ability to guide his clients into the life between lives state. Through thousands of case studies documented in his books like Journey of Souls, a consistent and detailed picture of the pre-birth planning process emerged. Dr. Newton's subjects described, with remarkable consistency, how they, as souls in the spirit realm, would meet with councils of wise, loving beings to plan their next incarnation. Person in lotus position, they would review their past lives, identify the lessons they still needed to learn, and consciously choose the bodies, the families, and the major life challenges that would best facilitate that learning. They described choosing their own hardships with a wisdom and love that their conscious, incarnated personality could barely fathom. They literally signed up for their lives. They created their own soul contracts. The work of these modern pioneers provide a powerful bridge for the rational mind. It takes the concept of a soul contract out of the realm of pure faith and places it into the realm of documented, empirical, albeit unconventional, research. It affirms what the mystics have always known. Your life is not an accident. It is an assignment that you, in your full, radiant, soul-level consciousness, chose with infinite love and courage. The reason this knowledge was suppressed is clear. A person who knows they have chosen their own challenges can no longer be a victim. A person who knows they have a sacred mission can no longer be controlled by the trivial pursuits of the simulation. This knowledge transforms you from a pawn into a king, from a servant into a sovereign, And that has always been the most dangerous transformation of all. Part 5, The Terror of Your Own Grandeur. We have now arrived at the core of the revelation. You're not a random collection of biological impulses. You are an ancient, eternal soul on a chosen mission. You have a sacred contract, and the alarm clock is ringing. And here, we encounter the most profound and unexpected obstacle of the entire spiritual path. It is not the fear of our smallness, our unworthiness. It is a fear of our own magnificence. It is one thing to entertain these ideas as a comforting philosophy. It is quite another to accept them as your living reality. To truly accept that you designed your life, that you chose your suffering for a higher purpose, that you have a sacred mission to help awaken the world. This is a responsibility of staggering proportions. It is, as Marianne Williamson famously wrote, our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. The hidden voice of the ego, the program of limitation, will now unleash its most powerful weapon, the virus of diminishment. It will whisper, "Who are you to think you are so special? A volunteer? Being on a mission? That's arrogant. That's delusional. You are just an ordinary person. Get back in your box." This is the voice of the tall poppy syndrome of the soul. The program is designed to cut down anything that grows too high, anything that threatens to transcend the consensus reality of mediocrity. It is the fear of being seen, the fear of being powerful, the fear of being truly responsible. It is much easier to believe you are a victim of a meaningless universe than to accept that you are the creator of your own meaningful one. The victim has no responsibility. The creator has total responsibility. This is the moment you must choose your allegiance. Will you believe the program of diminishment, or will you have the courage to claim your own grandeur? Will you have the audacity to believe the whispers of your soul over the shouting of the world? This is the ultimate choice for your own empowerment. This is the moment you sign the contract again, but this time consciously. If you are ready to accept your mission, to step out of the shadows of self-doubt and into the light of your own sacred purpose, then I invite you to make this choice an embodied act. Click the like button. Let it be a conscious declaration. I accept my contract. I am ready to serve. I claim my magnificence. By sharing this, you're holding a space for others to claim their own, creating a collective field where it is safe to be powerful, safe to be divine. Now, let us anchor this. We must create a new self-concept, a new I am. The old self-concept, programmed by the world, was, I am a limited, ordinary person, trying to survive. The new self-concept, the truth of your contract, is, I am a powerful, eternal soul on a sacred mission who consciously chose this life to learn, to love, and to serve the awakening of humanity. Say these words to yourself silently. Feel the vibration of them. Can you feel the radical shift in energy? The first identity is heavy, contractive, and fearful. The second identity is light, expansive, and full of a quiet, unshakable power. Your work now is to practice living from this new identity every day. When you wake up in the morning, instead of downloading the old program of your problems and obligations, you download this one instead. You remind yourself, I am on a mission, and this changes the entire context of your day. A difficult meeting at work is no longer a chore. It is a part of your mission field. A challenging interaction with a family member is no longer a drama. It is an opportunity to practice your core lessons. Your whole life is recontextualized from a struggle for survival into a magnificent, purposeful adventure. Part 6. From Contract to Compass, Navigating by Your Soul's True North. Once you have consciously accepted your contract, your relationship with life's challenges transforms. They are no longer random, cruel acts of fate. They are the divinely designed curriculum of your own soul. And this understanding gives you a new way to navigate them. It gives you an inner compass. The old way of navigating life, the way of the ego, is to ask the question, how can I avoid this pain? How can I fix this problem? How can I get back to comfort and safety? This is a navigation system based on aversion and control. The new way of navigating, the way of the soul who remembers its contract, is to ask a completely different set of questions when faced with a challenge. The questions are, if I chose this experience of my own growth, what is the core lesson I am here to master? What quality is this situation asking me to embody? How can I use this situation to fulfill a part of my mission? Let's apply this new compass to a real-life situation. Imagine you have just lost your job. The old, egoic navigation system would immediately go into panic. It would generate thoughts of fear, of scarcity, of failure. It would ask, how will I pay my bills? What will people think? Why did this happen to me? It would lead you down a spiral of anxiety and victimhood. Now, let's use the new compass. You are faced with the same external event, but you stop, you breathe, and you ask the new questions. 1. What is the lesson? Perhaps the job was comfortable, but soul-crushing. Perhaps you were playing small. The lesson your soul wrote into your contract might be about courage, about learning to trust the universe, about finally pursuing your true calling instead of just a paycheck. This disaster is actually the catalyst you designed to force you out of your comfort zone. 2. What quality am I being asked to embody? The situation is asking you to embody faith instead of fear, resilience instead of despair, creativity instead of rigidity. It is the final exam for the very qualities your soul came here to develop. It is your spiritual gymnasium. 3. How can this serve my mission? Perhaps your mission is to be a teacher or a healer. This period of unemployment, while scary, gives you the time and the space to finally develop your gifts, to write the book, to take the course, to start your own practice. Perhaps your mission is simply to be an anchor of peace. This situation gives you the perfect opportunity to practice being an island of calm in a sea of personal uncertainty, which in turn makes you a more powerful beacon for others. Can you see the profound shift? The external event is the same. But by changing the questions you ask, by looking at it through the lens of your soul contract, you transform a random tragedy into a purposeful initiation. You are no longer a victim of life. You are a student in its mystery school, and you know that you are the one who set the curriculum. This is the art of living from your contract. It is to meet every circumstance, both the beautiful and the painful, with the quiet, underlying question, how is this serving my soul's evolution? How is this a part of the magnificent story I wrote for myself? When you live this way, you become untouchable. Nothing can truly harm you, because you know that everything is ultimately for you. Everything is a part of the path home. Part 7, the collective mission. We are all in this together. Now we must zoom out from the personal contract to the collective one. For you did not sign up for a solo mission. You are part of a team, a vast, interconnected soul group that agreed to incarnate together at this pivotal moment in human history. The feeling of kinship you sometimes feel with a stranger, the inexplicable sense of having known someone your whole life upon first meeting. These are often moments of recognizing a member of your soul family, another signatory to the same overarching contract. And what is the collective contract? What is the group project we all came here to work on? It is the Great Awakening. It is the midwifing of a new paradigm of consciousness on planet Earth. It is the assistance in the planetary shift from a third-density reality based on fear, separation, and duality to a fourth and fifth-density reality based on love, unity, and an awareness of our own creative power. We, the volunteers, the starseeds, the ones who have always felt out of place, are the ground crew for this shift. We agreed to come in first, to anchor the new frequencies before the rest of the population was ready. We are the energetic acupuncturists, strategically placed around the globe, each holding a specific note, a specific vibration. Our mission is not to save the world in a dramatic, egoic sense. It is not to fight the darkness. It is to hold the light. It is to maintain our own inner state of coherence, of peace, of love, regardless of the chaos of the outer world. Because our coherent energy field is our greatest contribution. It acts as a stabilizing force, a resonant tuning fork that helps the entire collective field to shift with more grace and less cataclysm. Think of it like this. The Earth is a great ship that is moving through a tumultuous storm, passing from the stormy waters of the Piscean Age into the calmer waters of the Aquarian Age. Most of the passengers on the ship are in a panic. They are running around on the deck, screaming about the waves, blaming the captain, fighting over the lifeboats. They are adding their chaotic, fearful energy to the storm. We are the ones who agreed to go down into the engine room. Our job is not to be on the deck, participating in the drama. Our job is to stay calm, to tend to the engine, and to keep our own inner frequency steady. By doing so, we help to keep the ship's engine running smoothly, allowing it to navigate the storm more effectively. Our work is quiet, internal, and largely unseen, but it is the most important work on the ship. This is why your personal contract and the collective contract are one and the same. The lessons you are learning for your own soul's growth, the mastery of fear, the embodiment of love, the reclamation of your creative power, are the very skills that are needed to fulfill your part of the collective mission. As you heal yourself, you heal a part of the world. As you raise your own vibration, you contribute to the raising of the planetary vibration. Your personal liberation is an act of planetary service. So when you feel overwhelmed by the state of the world, do not despair. Do not feel that you are too small to make a difference. Remember your contract. Remember your post in the engine room. Your job is not to fix a storm. Your job is to be the calm within the storm. And that is a service of immeasurable value. Part 8. The moment of choice, re-signing the contract. And so, we arrive at the heart of the matter. We arrive at the now. For this knowledge is not meant to be a passive consolation. It is an active invitation. It presents you with a choice. You have now been reminded of the contract you signed before you were born. The veil of amnesia has been lifted. If only for a moment, you can no longer, with full integrity, claim ignorance. You can no longer, with full integrity, play the role of the unconscious victim. You now stand at a conscious choice point. You can choose to let the veil of forgetting descend again. You can dismiss this as a beautiful story, a comforting myth, and you can return to your normal life. You can continue to live as a character in the play, buffeted by the winds of fate, believing the simulation to be the only reality. The program will welcome you back with open arms. The door to the familiar prison is always open. There is no judgment in this choice. Many souls will choose it, or you can make a new choice. You can choose to re-sign your contract consciously. You can choose to step fully into the role you wrote for yourself. You can choose to accept your mission with all its challenges and all its glory. This is the moment of your spiritual coming of age. It is the moment you stop being a draftee in the army of life and become a conscious, willing volunteer. This choice is not made with words. It is made with your will. It is a declaration you make in the silent temple of your own heart. I invite you to make that choice now. If it feels true, close your eyes. Go within, and in the stillness of your own being, I want you to feel the presence of your own magnificent, eternal soul, your higher self, the one who wrote the contract. See it as a being of immense light and love, standing before you, and in your heart, make this declaration. You can use these words or your own. I remember. I acknowledge the sacred contract of my soul. I acknowledge the curriculum I have chosen, the rendezvous I have arranged, and the mission I have come here to fulfill. I release all stories of victimhood and blame. I release all resistance to my own divine plan. I accept the challenges as my path to mastery. I accept my power as the creator of my reality. I accept my role as a servant of the light and the awakening of this world. My period of amnesia is over. My period of conscious service begins now. With a full heart, with a clear mind, and with a sovereign will, I sign my name again. It is time. I am ready. And so it is. Feel the energy of this declaration. Feel the shift in your being as you make it. It is a subtle but profound click, as if a great cosmic gear is just engaged. You have just aligned your personal, egoic will with the will of your soul. And in that alignment, a new power begins to flow through you. The power of a life lived on purpose. Part 9. Life on mission. The end of the search. What does it feel like to live after you have re-signed your contract? How does the texture of reality change? The most profound change is the end of the search. The restless, hungry ghost of the ego, which was always searching for something outside itself to make it feel whole. The perfect partner, the perfect job, the perfect spiritual experience. That ghost finally comes to rest. Because you now understand that your life is not a random search for meaning. Your life is the meaning. The curriculum is the meaning. The challenges are the meaning. The mission is the meaning. You are already in the center of your own perfect, divinely orchestrated purpose. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to find. There is only the work of showing up, of being present for the life you designed, and of learning the lessons that are right in front of you. This brings a profound sense of peace. It is the peace that comes from no longer fighting with reality. When you know that the difficult boss, the financial challenge, the health issue are all part of your own curriculum, you stop resisting them. You stop calling them problems. They become your spiritual practice. You meet them with a sense of curiosity and gratitude, asking, "What are you here to teach me?" The struggle ends, and a graceful dance with life begins. You begin to experience a new kind of guidance. When you consciously align with your soul's purpose, your intuition becomes sharp and clear. The universe begins to speak to you more directly. The synchronicities increase. You find yourself being guided effortlessly to the right people, the right information, the right opportunities to fulfill your mission. You feel less like you are pushing the river and more like you're being carried by an intelligent, loving current. And you discover a new source of energy. The energy that you used to expend on worry, on resistance, on the search for meaning, is now liberated. It becomes available to you to use in service of your mission. You find a passion and a vitality that does not come from coffee or external motivation. It comes from the deep, quiet well of your own purpose. You wake up in the morning not with a sense of obligation, but with a sense of excitement. What part of my mission will I get to live today? To live from your contract is to become a force of nature. You are no longer a small, separate self trying to get by. You are an expression of a cosmic purpose, an agent of a divine plan, and you are backed by the full power and intelligence of the universe, because you are no longer working against it. You are working with it. You are working as it. The small story of your personal life has dissolved into a grand, epic story of planetary awakening, and you are one of its central, beloved heroes. Part 10. The Epiphany. You are the contract. And so we arrive at the final, silent, and most liberating truth, the truth that lies beyond even the story of the contract itself. We have journeyed from the amnesia of the ordinary to the remembrance of our sacred agreement. We have seen ourselves as the brave soul who signed up for this mission. We have learned to read the terms of the contract in the patterns of our lives. We have consciously re-signed it, aligning our personal will with our divine will. But now, we must take the final step. We must kick away the last ladder of a beautiful and useful metaphor and stand in the boundless reality that it points to. The epiphany is this. You are not a soul who is a contract. You are the contract. Your very being, your unique configuration of consciousness, your specific soul frequency, is the message. It is the mission. It is the agreement made manifest. Think of it this way. A contract is a set of words, of promises, written on a piece of paper. But you are not the paper. You are not even the words. You are the living meaning that animates the words. Your curriculum is not a list of lessons you must learn. Your curriculum is the very process of you being you, in all your messy, beautiful, human glory. Your rendezvous are not appointments you must keep. Your rendezvous are the natural, resonant intersections of your energy field with others. Your mission is not a job you must do. Your mission is the effortless radiation of your own unique, authentic essence into the world. This means that you can finally stop trying. You can stop trying to figure out your purpose. You can stop worrying if you are fulfilling your contract. The very act of you being authentically, unapologetically yourself is a fulfillment of your contract. When you are expressing your joy, you are fulfilling your contract. When you are healing your pain, you are fulfilling your contract. When you are speaking your truth, you are fulfilling your contract. When you are resting in silence, you are fulfilling your contract. There is nothing you need to do to be on purpose. Your purpose is to be the unique, irreplaceable note that you are in the symphony of the cosmos. Your only real work is to clear away all the programming, all the beliefs, all the fears that have been obscuring the sound of that note. The work is not to become something else. The work is to become more fully, more nakedly, more radiantly yourself. The hidden voice of the ego is the voice that tells you that you need to earn your purpose, that you must achieve your mission. The quiet, loving voice of your soul whispers, You are the mission. Just be. The contract was not a document you signed. It was a promise you made to your own heart, a promise to remember yourself. And the time of that remembrance is now. You are not just a signatory to a divine agreement. You are the living, breathing, magnificent embodiment of the agreement itself. You are the promise fulfilled. Your life is not a random series of events. It is a sacred text you are writing with your own being. The contract is not a mystery to be solved. It is a truth to be lived. If this great remembrance has activated the mission in your soul, subscribe and walk this path of purpose with us. The time of forgetting is over. Your assignment has begun, and your presence is the gift you came here to give.